What's going on, everyone? A deal for DeAndre Ayton and Myles Turner has been rumored for months now, right? That the Indiana Pacers would do a sign and trade for DeAndre Ayton in exchange for Myles Turner, and it would make sense for both sides. Well, it is being reported by Brian Windhorst that the deal is essentially ready to go, that both teams are interested in that potential swap, especially the Indiana Pacers, that the Indiana Pacers would be willing to give Myles Turner in exchange for DeAndre Ayton. Makes sense. They're a rebuilding team. They get a nice young center. He's only 3 years younger than Myles Turner, but still, he's a better center, better in all categories except for shot blocking. He's younger. He's a guy that would fit the rebuild of the Indiana Pacers going forward and makes a lot of sense. And then for the Phoenix Suns, Myles Turner is a guy that they would be able to plug in immediately. He would give everything that the Phoenix Suns need, right? The shot creating, the shot blocking, all of those things, especially with a guy like Chris Paul, who is just a master orchestrator. He'd be able to really set up and get the best out of Myles Turner. And this is also something that has been rumored for some time in a three-way swap with the Brooklyn Nets. And one of the things that is holding up, one of the reasons this isn't a done deal, although it's being reported that it's likely to get done before the summer is over, is Kevin Durant. Right now, the big holdup is the Kevin Durant trade because it's very likely that this is going to end up in a three-team deal. Phoenix is trying to get Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's preferred destination is the Phoenix Suns, and any trade would require DeAndre Ayton. The problem is Ayton can't go to the Brooklyn Nets because a sign and trade would mean that the Nets would be hard capped. And the Nets do not need to get hard capped. It would be a terrible disaster for them. But they also have been interested in Myles Turner for years. And it is said and reported that they are actually more interested in Myles Turner than DeAndre Ayton. And that might just be fit. That just might be, having that shot blocking center that can shoot the three ball, things like that. Where Ayton, there's a lot of questions about his character and just his mentality and things like that. So Brooklyn would be more enticed to take on Myles Turner. So very likely we could see a three-team trade between the Phoenix Suns, the Brooklyn Nets, and the Indiana Pacers. It's something I even reported yesterday here on this channel because reports were coming out. But if the Phoenix Suns can't get Kevin Durant, then it is more than likely that the next trade would be the swap for Turner and DeAndre Ayton. Now, Brooklyn, obviously, they want to recoup as many assets as possible, and they're looking at a package likely centered around, it would be Mikal Bridges, and then they would also get Myles Turner plus whatever else, and then several draft picks, because the Pacers are likely going to give up a first round plus Turner for Ayton. That's what's being reported. So they would basically, the Suns would reroute the first Myles Turner and Mikal Bridges plus whatever other little pieces, maybe a Crowder, something like that, to the Brooklyn Nets. They would get Kevin Durant, and then then the Indiana Pacers would get DeAndre Ayton. And that would be sort of how the trade would work out. If they can't come to a conclusion, because, of course, the Phoenix Suns would rather have Kevin Durant over Myles Turner. That makes all the sense in the world. And there's still a bunch of free agent centers that are out there right now that the Suns could sign to kind of replace DeAndre Ayton at the center position and still be in a good position with Booker, CP3, and Kevin Durant. But if it doesn't work out, well, then it's very likely that the Pacers and the Suns are going to just swap both DeAndre Ayton and Myles Turner. So definitely look forward to that trade. I do think that this is a trade that makes the most sense for everybody. I know Suns fans don't want to give up Mikal Bridges, but he's never going to be Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is once in a generational talent. Many people I've seen in the comment section, well, Mikal Bridges is such a better defender than Kevin Durant. Their defensive stats are very similar. Their defensive rating, Kevin Durant is a 112, almost 113, and Mikal Bridges is a 111. So they're not that far off in defensive statistics. And yes, Mikal Bridges has had 1 year where he was a 109, but outside of that, his average is 112. So him and Kevin Durant are basically a wash defensively. Kevin Durant is the far better scorer, which is huge and important and things that they need. I mean, the Phoenix Suns would be the best team in the NBA with Booker, CP3, and Kevin Durant if they can remain healthy. Plus, they very likely, would keep pieces like Crowder and this, that, and the other. Yeah, they might have to give up Cam Johnson, but this is a trade that's fair for everybody because the Pacers get their young center for the future. The Brooklyn Nets gets a nice young wing, a nice young center, a couple draft picks, probably another random player or two thrown in because the Brooklyn Nets need to remain competitive. That is huge for them. That is important for them because they don't have any of their own draft picks, so they can't tank. So they need a package that makes sense to be competitive, to remain competitive. And if they can have a Mikal Bridges, a Myles Turner, a Ben Simmons, things along those lines, then, and you still have TJ Warren, you still have Patty Mills. They're going to do the Kyrie trade, right? So whatever they get back there, we'll see what develops. But very likely it's going to end in a 3-team deal. Worst case scenario, we will see a trade once the Kevin Durant smoke fades away. We will see just a direct trade for Myles Turner and DeAndre Ayton is likely going to be the scenario if Kevin Durant isn't traded to the Phoenix Suns. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What do you think about this trade? Would you would you prefer Phoenix to get Myles Turner and keep Mikal Bridges and not get Kevin Durant? Or would you rather, Kevin Durant? I mean, Kevin Durant is Kevin Durant, right? You send Bridges and Myles Turner to the Nets. You get Kevin Durant. Ayton goes to the Pacers. That's likely the done deal. But, I mean, DeAndre Ayton isn't playing in the Phoenix Suns jersey likely ever again. They want to do whatever they can to move him. And worst case, they will just do a swap for Myles Turner. Myles Turner is an expiring contract, so I imagine they extend him. I don't think that they're going to trade Ayton for Turner, and Turner doesn't sign an extension. So I imagine he will sign an extension, and then you have him, CP3, Mikal Bridges, and Chris Paul for the foreseeable future. But I still think Kevin Durant, CP3, and Devin Booker is a better team than that. But, I mean, fit, things like that is very important, of course, in this NBA. And I do think for what the Suns need. Now, I don't think DeAndre Ayton is a worse center than Myles Turner. I think DeAndre Ayton is the better center between the two. But fit-wise, Myles Turner is the better option, right? Because they don't need a center that has to put up 20 a night and needs his touches and is going to be a locker room drama, right? They need somebody that can block shots, that can defend, that can knock down the outside shot, that can get you, 15 a game just within the frame of the game, right? Chris Paul can set Myles Turner up very well, very easily. So Turner's going to get his points. And he's not going to have to worry about that. But Ayton, he wants to be that guy. He wants his 15 to 20 touches a night. So I just think it would be a much better situation for the Suns if they were to do this direct swap. Obviously, if you can get Kevin Durant, I think you go get Kevin Durant. But if we remove Kevin Durant from it, I do think Turner is the better fit for the Phoenix Suns. I think Ayton is the better player, but sometimes the better player isn't always the best fit. And then for the Indiana Pacers, it makes all the sense in the world. You get that young center who can get the touches because they need somebody to get those touches. They need somebody that can get you 20 plus a night, game in and game out. So Ayton gets to be the guy in Indiana. So I just think that this is a perfect fit for everybody involved. And then if the Nets get involved, I think it's a fair trade for all three. But again, your thoughts and opinions on everything that you think and how you want to see this shape up. Do you think that, that they should just do the swap? Just do the Ayton and Myles Turner swap. Don't give away all the assets. You're already a contender. Myles Bridges likely keeps you as a contender. You probably still the best team in the West, that kind of thing. I do think that it's going to be interesting, and kind of last little thought that popped in my head. If Kyrie does get traded to the Lakers, say this weekend, I think that's going to put a lot more pressure on the Phoenix Suns. And I could be completely wrong, but I think if you look at the Lakers roster and you're essentially swapping Westbrook and Kyrie, the Lakers are a legit contender. Whether you are a Laker hater or not and you disagree or whatever, the reality is LeBron, Kyrie, and Anthony Davis are a contender. They have the young talent around them. They have the defense. If they can just go get a shooter like an Eric Gordon, something like that, they have everything. They have the size. They have the athleticism. They have the defense. They have the scoring. They have literally everything. And I think that if Kyrie gets traded, I think Phoenix is going to see that and go, we need to get Kevin Durant to compete with those guys. I really do. Because Anthony Davis and LeBron almost beat this exact Phoenix team. If Anthony Davis didn't get hurt, I really believe that they would have beaten Phoenix. And who knows what would have happened at that point. So, and I think that Phoenix knows that. Plus, they just underwhelmed against the Dallas Mavericks in this playoffs. I think if the Lakers get Kyrie, I really think that the Phoenix Suns are going to look at that and go, we need to be the best that we can be, and Kevin Durant makes us that. But again, let me know down in the comment section below. One last little shameless plug is I did start As It Stands Lakers. It is a channel just like this, dedicated to only the Lakers, because the Lakers are my favorite team. And on this channel, As It Stands, I talk about all teams, all sports, stuff like that. We have football season coming up, so I'm definitely looking forward to that as well. And I just wanted to make a dedicated channel to the Lakers to give the ins and outs. Now, all the big stuff, all the big news and stuff, I will still post here on this channel. But if you want all the ins and outs and just rumors and theories and just discussions just strictly on the Lakers, link down in the description or in the comment section. Go check out the channel, subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.